I know a lot of people that are preaching, don't do that at all. That is all bad. It's this and that is the devil. But no, there's good debt, there's bad debt.
Okay.
There's good time to have debt. There's really bad time to have debt. So let's see the debt as a tool, right? If you get a tool that's going to help you to fix things or to make things better or to multiply things, that's a good tool to have. Even though it's a debt, but you're getting a return on it and it's increasing what you have.
Everyone, welcome back to the Mind Your Wellness podcast with your host here, Old Belle, and we have Patricia. And today we have a very special guest with us. I think all our guests are special. You're gonna hear me say that a lot, okay? So we are so excited because with this wellness podcast, our goal is to help everybody out there with whatever areas of wellness that they need to get themselves better at. So I think whether it's finance, emotional, mental health, and today we're gonna explore the finance side of things, and I'm so excited to dive into this conversation with our guest here. I got a chance to meet him, and I think he really looks like those people you said they're just a stand-up guy. They just throw that around, and I just think he just seems like a stand-up guy. We don't know him in detail, but I had the privilege of actually being classmate with his wife back in Haiti. I know her his wife. Wow. Yeah, so it's really cool, like full circle to kind of see, like the person she married, and I'm like, okay, this is really nice. It's really nice, beautiful. And I'm so excited to have him. And obviously, we're gonna go none other than Dr. Paul. It's good to have you, bro.
Hey, thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me. You guys look beautiful today, and I know this podcast is gonna go very well, and I hope a lot of people learn about the podcast and the things we will be discussing today, and with other guests, of course.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having you. And, Dr. Paul I feel like he wears so many hats aside from finance. I mean, you're an author. You actually are a creator of an app as well. There's so many things that I can start going on about, but I would think it would be better if it coming from him. So I want you to just tell the people a little bit about who you are, what your background is. Just tell us about yourself a little.
Well, I think you've said a lot. There's not much left to say. My name is Paul Etienne. I do have married 2 kids. I do have a bachelor's in rehab administration, a master's in business administration and finance, and also a doctorate in business administration with a concentration in finance. I am an author. You mentioned I have 2 best-selling books on Amazon about finance. One's about finance and relationship, and the other one about finance and kids. I do have an app. It's called the MadBlue Max. This is a budgeting app. So I've kind of put everything together: the counseling, the book, and then the app to help people manage their finances. And also I blog on madblue.com. I'd say weekly. Weekly, I say I blog on madblue.com, and that's pretty much everything. So I guess a lot of the other things, the guests will hear them when you guys start asking some questions.
Oh my goodness. I told you it would have been, I would have done a disservice to try to introduce him. But I'm glad you actually, gave us a little bit of insight of who you are and what you do. And we're so excited. And before we dive into this question, man, let's just do some icebreaker questions just to relax, to get to know you. I'm going to try to keep this and that. So you just pick one over the other. We might not be able to answer those questions because I made them into like a finance way. Like I just put finance. So if you know what they are, you obviously you will know. So you're just gonna pick this or that between the 2 of the choices that we have. Okay, so we're gonna start with the first one: stocks or bonds.
Oh my god.
It depends on the time, but I would say stocks.
Oh.
But yeah, it depends on the time.
Okay. Bull market or a bear market? I don't even know what these things are.
Bull market.
Bull market. Okay. Excel sheets or financial models?
Financial models.
Oh, okay. Wall Street or Main Street?
Wall Street.
Warren Buffett or Elon Musk?
Ooh.
We can answer that.
I am the growth slow guy. I would say Warren Buffett.
Oh, okay. Investment
Let's-
banking or asset management?
I would say I would say asset management. I would say asset management.
Okay. Financial planning or risk management?
I do both now. I do mostly risk management with my commercial clients and financial planning with my individual clients. I don't know. It's like I think they go together.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to pick one.
Okay.
But financial planning, if I have to pick one.
Okay. Now, this is going to be a really weird one. I think we're all going to try to answer that. Money without happiness or happiness without money?
Oh my God, Obel.
I'm sorry. This is going to be one that's going to get the public excited.
Happiness without money, money without money.
And I want to know why, too. I feel like this is a hard one.
It's a hard one because I feel like you can have both. Like, I don't know.
But if you have to choose and they put a gun in your head, I'm always going to ask that.
if I'm living in the US, capitalistic country, I don't think it's possible, or I don't think it's doable to be happy without money. So I may not be happy, but the people around me will be very happy.
Wow. I love how he did that selfless thing in there.
Yeah.
That was
I
nice.
took one for the team.
That's good.
That is nice.
That is
That
so
is
nice.
nice.
Wow.
Right.
I really love that. I really love that. Wow.
Yeah.
That kind of changed our perspective too.
It does. If you're on an island and you have coconut trees and all of these
Yeah,
things, then
you-
of course you pick happiness. But if you're in the United States,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
That's
So
a very-
I'll cry in a Bugatti, you know.
All right.
well, let's just go into like why did you what is when if you want to describe financial wellness, what would be the word and why do you think that's crucial and important for people to achieve financial wellness?
Why is it important? That's a good question. So financial wellness, first of all, is what I would define as being able to understand your financial position, where you are financially, where you're going financially, and do you have a plan to get you there? And being prepared to get freedom from financial stress. Because one of the biggest thing that people deal with is stress, and a lot of it comes from not having the funds or not managing the funds that they have properly. So financial wellness, of course, will help reduce stress, will help to increase security, you know, family, food, clothes that they wear, the cars that they drive, you know, how you provide for your family. And it creates a generational impact on the people that are coming, you know, so being able to be prepared enough for the next generation and the next generation to come and educate them on how to manage their finances properly, or the finances you will live for them properly, and have a better quality of life at the end of the day, to reach freedom and autonomy, because that's what everybody strive for, is to get to a point where you're so financially independent that you can just, you know, stay home or go on vacation without having to check your account. So I would say that's why financial wellness is very important for people in general.
Yeah, I heard you also mention like managing financial stress. That's why it's important to have financial freedom. I wanted to tap into that because where do you draw the line, like the boundaries? Because I feel like rich people have financial stress. You know, some people like the wealthier they get, the more stressful their life become. And you know, it's like I think some people even feel like they were happier when they were in the tiny apartment compared to when they have the mansion. So how do you draw the line, you know, as you grow in your finance to maintain that wellness?
So one of the things that I mentioned was effective management of your finances. And that does not have a limit. It doesn't matter if you have $3, $30, $30,000, or $3 billion. Because at the end of the day, it's not how much money you make or have, but it's how you manage what you make. Right? We're very familiar with friends or family or people you hear that can't make it, can't make the payment the next day, or are struggling financially. But at the same time, if you make the news, you see athletes that have made millions and millions of dollars. They don't work too. So it's not really about how much money that person have that's going to dictate how much stress they have. Of course, every time you get to a new class, you have new problems. You've heard of first world problems, right? Like people that are in Haiti have different problems. They feel like if they come to the US, everything will be better. But when you get here, now you have your own US problems. Or if you go, so it's the same thing. So it's not about having the most money. It's being able to manage that money properly. That is what will decrease financial stress from you, being able to manage your money and know how to manage it properly.
That's really good that you said know how to manage properly, because there are some people making a lot of money, but you can see it's versus the amount of money that comes in versus what's going out. It's not managed properly. Now, how can someone overcome those challenges? Because there are people, they feel like the more money they have, the more luxurious thing they need to have, and the more they need to look like they have money. So do you feel like there's a way for you to be able to check yourself? Because sometimes people don't realize that. Do you feel like there's a psychological thing there where people feel like when they have money, they have to look a certain way? Or I don't know if you can kind of give us a little bit on your thoughts on that. Like, why do sometimes people have the money and they feel like they just have to look a certain way? And how can they check that?
Or even people who are really wealthy but don't care about the way they look. Is that a problem? And where do you see like most of these people who just have to look the money,
That's a good question. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. And that was I do have a podcast last season. That was our finale. It's keeping up with the Joneses. You've probably heard of keeping up with the Joneses, where people are trying to look the way your neighbors look, the way the people next to them look. And in that episode, I did talk about every single person that I interviewed in different industries, and the views that they had were like just breathtaking and wonderful, because this is the thief of joy, pretty much, trying to be like the next person, and it's not. And like you mentioned, some people, right, they have so much money, they dress any way that they want to. But remember, they already have all the money. Everybody already know they have the money, so they don't have anything to prove to people. So no matter how they dress, you see them at Walmart shopping, you could say, oh, that person must be broke. They don't care. They have all the money in the world. And you have the other person that doesn't have much, but they want to look like they have much so people can judge them. Because when people know you have money, or you can take care of yourself, they treat you differently. So I don't blame everybody who does it, because sometimes there's a reason why you want to present yourself a certain way, that way people can take you seriously. But when you do that at the expense of your future, right, now it becomes an issue, because now you've already spent what you have to work for the next 2 to 3 days. next 2 to 3 years of your life.
Yeah. I want to tap into that because now let's just get into the saving aspect. And people always say, like, we need to save, and then there are people that say, well, you shouldn't be saving your money, you should be investing your money. So how much of that statement is really true? Do you believe that what does the balance look like when it comes to like people that are, always saving, they just have all the money sitting in the bank, and then, versus people that always get all the money out and investing? Should there be a balance, or is there one that's better than the other?
There's got to be a balance, right? You want to be able to take care of yourself and your family. That would be like 50% of your budget, right? Or of whatever you make. Half of it should go into you taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, or all the needs that you have. Then you have that's about 30%, right? That should go into your wants, and about 20% that should go into savings and your investing. Now, the saving and investing, the more you can add to that, the better. But at least 20% of that should go towards savings and investing. I say and investing, not all investing, because you have to have both. So you don't want to save too much. You don't want to invest everything that you have, because you're going to have needs for short-term cash, right? Which is where you come with an emergency account. That's the saving, right? You have an emergency account that can take care of your expenses and all your bills for the next at least 3 to 6 months. That has to be there regardless. I don't care what your situation is, how much you're investing, how much you're doing it, you have to have cash set aside for emergency. And then beyond that, any money that you will not need for the next 6 months, or I'll say for next year, then you should be investing that, and investing it well, not gambling, just doing whatever somebody else is doing, whatever you see hot on IG or on TikTok, and you start putting your money. That's not investing. You have to make informed decision about your investment. So you have your savings, and then you have your investment, because your saving is there for you to pick it up whenever you need it, or your investing is there for it to grow for you and multiply. This is kind of like, instead of you working overtime and more hours, this is like you creating little you to go and work for you, because when your money is being invested, it multiplies a lot faster than what savings account, you're pretty much not getting anything. You're just getting the security of your money being in a safe place, and nothing's going to happen to it, right? So you have it there being safe. But if you want it to grow, you have to invest. So you have to do both in a balanced way.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, I love that. I wanna go into family wellness when it comes to financing and saving and investing in things. How do you approach these conversation with, well, now that you are a financial guy, I can say with your wife, because that's always like a big problem in relationship. Like we know in marriages, it's always like the money issue. That's the biggest thing, leading to divorce and all of these things. So how do you, or what would you recommend for married people on discussing finances in the house, and how do you manage that where everybody is just happy with the way things are?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Because I'm working on a project like that to go with my book, which is about, finances in different stage of relationship. Like you mentioned, it's a really major issue, right? But it comes down to communication. It comes down to expectations. So what did you and your spouse decide, or what did you and your spouse talk about when it comes to to money and money management? Did you have any type of talk to your spouse before you got married about money? Because some people, they talk about everything but money, because money seems to be a taboo for a lot of people. They don't talk to that about, to other people, right? So for family, if you had that conversation with your spouse, you need to start making it more often, like making it, like me and my spouse, we talk about money, not every day, but
I was
gonna
like, I can only
say.
imagine being the finance guy. Like,
at least once a month, right? We have to see where
Yeah.
we are, what we've done, and what we need to do differently. Because you have to have a game plan, right? You have a plan. Here's where you want to go. Here's where you want to go, and here's when you want to get there. If you're going there, great. You still have to talk and say, okay, I see we're doing this, and it's working. Let's keep doing it. And if you're not getting there, you have to talk and say, okay, what can we do to get there? So you have to talk to your spouse about it. If you never talk to them, it's time, because this is part of this is relationship with it, pretty much. Like 44% of people that get a divorce get it because of money issues. Like they can't get together when it comes to money, because one person will have a mindset about money, the other person will have a different mindset. But since they never talk, they don't know that until they're married and they're forced to address their money issues and their money, how they manage money. And then that's where they realize we're not a match financially, and though we're meant to be a match. But it's not all lost. You can always get back on the table, seek help, get a financial advisor or a counselor that can help you guys to manage relationship and money together. But it's a talk that you guys have to have. Don't just let it blow up in your face, because it will blow up.
I love that you mentioned that, because I was just about to ask, how do you feel like if the person has an issue? Because some people just have that as something that they struggle with, where they like to spend, and the other person is like, I like to keep my money, and the other, so that's the tag of war, where how do you balance? And I love the fact that you mentioned, psychology, like you mentioned getting counseling and a financial advisor to come in and step into that relationship to get better, because the psychology of money is a real thing, and also I just want to go into now, people that really love to spend money, they also get into a lot of debt. So let's talk about debt. Is there such a thing as good debt versus bad debt?
Definitely. There's good debt, there's bad debt.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people that are preaching, don't do that at all. That is all bad. It's this and that is the devil. But no, there's good debt, there's bad debt.
Okay.
There's good time to have debt. There's really bad time to have debt. So let's see the debt as a tool, right? If you get a tool that's going to help you to fix things or to make things better or to multiply things, that's a good tool to have. Even though it's a debt, but you're getting a return on it, and it's increasing what you have. Case in point, a mortgage. It's a really good debt. Like most people cannot bring $500,000. Let's not even go there. $300,000 on the table to say they're gonna buy a house, right? But you can borrow now it's like 7, even if it's 8% now, it's still a good debt for what you will get in return, because you're not buying something for now, you're buying something for 30 years down the line. That is gonna increase in appreciation, because a $500,000 house now was not worth $500,000 10 or 20 years ago, right? So if you borrow it, not only you have to get a place to live, you're getting a place to live, and then you're getting what they call equity. And that equity can be used to do a lot of things, or pay debt later on, to pay for your kids' education, or even as a retirement plan that can be used. So that's one example. There's like thousands, but that's one example of a good debt. A bad debt would be you get a credit card just so you can buy the latest iPhones or the latest clothes. And then as soon as you buy it and it's not even worth, what you paid for it, and you still stuck paying 25-28% interest on that purchase, this would be considered a bad debt. So there's a lot of different ways we can go about that. We're not going to go into all the different options, but stay away from bad debt. because that's really sealing your future financially.
Oh yeah.
You know something? I want to go into the practical things. Now that we have you here as a financial advisor. So in relationship, there is that tendency that men are better at managing money than women. But we all know that's not true, because there are also women who are really good at managing their money. So now, but that's the tendency. Mostly if you have the men as the provider, the financial aspect of the family tends to fall on that man's shoulder responsibility, right? So now if you have young couples getting married, people getting married all the time, and then they're in this relationship and one is controlling the financial management, so there's not a communication about how the money is being spent, but then the woman love to shop and do all of these things, the grocery shopping. I know families are all like that, where the woman doesn't have access to the account, but the man provides, because you don't trust women with money. That's the general. But it's very common.
It is
very common in a lot of families.
Yeah, it's true.
So would you say that's a great dynamic, even though in a Christian perspective, where people tend to connect being the provider as the person to manage the finance? What are your perspective on that aspect?
I think you said it very well. It's just that people assume the provider has to be the manager. And it's not always true, because there are wives that are way better at managing money than the husbands are. And that's it's not I don't want to put a number to it, but it's really who you're married to. You guys should should know, this person is better. You're better at money than me. I think you should take the charge. Or I'm better at managing money than you. I'll take the charge, and we'll do it together. But one person take the lead, because one person has to hold the other person accountable. If you're doing something that's going against what we agreed on, that have to tell you, hey, I think we should do something else. So I don't think it's black and white, it's white or female. I think it's knowledge based and what we've agreed on as a couple, because what works for my relationship may not work for yours or for the next person, which is where you guys have to talk about it, right? Because if I said I'm really good at it, but everything that I do, it keeps taking us down financially, maybe let's take a shot, right? So it's, I don't think it's just, I think a lot of people go with it just because you're the provider, you have access to it, I think, but it shouldn't be like that.
That
couples should be very open about how they manage their finances.
That kind of answered basically my next question, where people sometimes say, they want to have different accounts, where they were like, I'll have my account and he'll have his account, and we'll have the account that pay the bills and things like that. Do you think that's actually an effective way to move forward with finances? I know, to each their own. People gonna have their own dynamic in their relationship. But do you think that's a smart way, or should everything be balanced together? Should individuals have their own accounts when in marriage, and then just have one account for bills?
To each their own. So it's what you and your spouse feel the most comfortable with. Okay. Right. Some couples just want to be able to keep each other accountable. The best way to do that is we have one account. Okay. We all see what's going on. We all know who's spending who's spending what. So it's easier to manage that way. To other couple, they're like, you know what? You do what you do. You've been doing it for years before we got married. I've been doing mine for years. I'll do what I do. And we'll just make sure all the bills are paid. If it works for them, great. Others will say, let's have one account. We send our money there to pay all the bills, and then everything else, I do what I want and you do what you want in your own account. Right. So it's whatever works for that couple. That's what's the best account. That's what's the best way to do it.
That's good.
Because there's not a standard that says, you should have everything into one account, because it's about you in your family or in your spouse. So communication will tell you, hey guys,
What
here's
works
what
for
best
you.
for me and you, and let's keep doing that.
That's awesome.
Mind your family business.
Mind your family business.
Family
Oh my
business.
gosh.
There you
Mind
go.
your find your business. I love how you always slip in that thing.
I
It's just like mind your
know.
family business.
I have a question back to that. How do you model financial wellness to children within the family unit?
It's very easy because the kids are a sponge, right?
Yeah.
They pick up things very fast and they don't forget that easy.
Mm-hmm.
So you should start talking to your kids about management, not money specifically, but management. Because kids learn so fast, and that can make a major change in their life, in how they grow and how they act as adults, right? You have to teach them the basic principles of management, right? Basic principles of management, and then you introduce money to it. Now, all you have to do is whatever you learn about management, apply that to money, right?
Nice.
And then you can. It's a really good way to educate kids. You teach them about patience, right? Like, which one do you want today? Do you want to have one scoop of ice cream right now, or do you want to wait 5 days from now, on Sunday or in the weekend, and have a big bowl of ice cream, right? So you're showing them how to patiently wait and grow their finances. I mean, they think they're doing it for money, but it is killing what we call the instant gratification, which is why we so much for debts, right? Because I want it, I see it now, I want it now.
Yeah.
How about you don't get it now and you think about it? How about you start
Self-control.
saving for it and then buy it later on? That will tell you, oh, maybe I don't need it that much, right? So different ways that you can, teach your kids or, play games with them that will teach them about management and patience. Those things will translate very well when it comes to money. Once you start introducing money, they already have all the skills that they need to apply that towards money.
Right, they have the foundation.
That is so.
That's also the fruit of the spirit.
That is because everything he was saying, it was just like self-control, patience.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think a lot of time that's really why some people get into trouble, because they don't have the patience to wait and just just work hard, and the fruit of that labor will come after, and they just want everything just now. But now you see that. How do you think that social media also has a big role in the psychology of money and how people view money now? Because it's like, how have you seen technology impacted personal finance? And what are some of the potential risks that you see, or recommendations as well as you to
for us viewers of social media?
Yeah.
Following our influencers.
So this is one. Yeah, this is why my episode was called E Joneses instead of the Joneses in general, because we take it there, like technology, electronically. Now everybody now is your neighbor. Everybody you follow now becomes your neighbor.
Yep.
And that is even more dangerous than dealing with your neighbor, because usually if I live next to someone, most of the time we're almost equal when it comes to finances or to what we do, right, in the same neighborhood. Now, trying to emulate what that other person is doing may get me in trouble, but at least it's not a huge gap compared to me seeing someone that lives in Beverly Hills that maybe making millions of dollars, but I assume because that person can do that, I can do it too, because that's literally or technologically my neighbor.
Wow.
So it becomes very dangerous, because now you enter a new class of assets that is not around you, but it's online in front of you, and you are seeing that as being your true self now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are getting into a lot of debt trying to look like that person.
they say
Well-
something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, continue. I don't want to cut you off. It's just, I'm just going to say that they say you're trying to impress people you don't even like, or people that don't even like you.
Yeah. It's like, I think the whole thing is you buy things you don't need to impress
People you don't like.
who don't care about you. Something like that.
Uh-huh.
So the way I see it, right, I do a lot of risk management, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a house here in Florida that's worth $500,000 or $1 million, you can take that house, in Ohio, and it's worth like $200,000, or take it to another state and it's worth like $400,000. So you have that huge gap you're dealing with. You see that big house someone has, they might have paid $200,000 for it. But now you want the same
Perspective,
house, but where you are, it's costing $800,000, and you're getting it trying to compete with that person, and they pay nowhere close as what you're paying to get. So it's really a dangerous arena people are getting into, trying to stay, keeping up with everything that they see online.
Wow, even with shopping now.
Yeah.
Because there is a thing I'm seeing like in the trend of fabric and clothing and things, and how things appear. Even when you do shopping online, sometimes you buy things and then you receive them in person and then they're not good quality. So imagine like I'm seeing an influencer wearing something and they bought it for like $5. So I'm looking at it on Instagram and it looks so good and so expensive. And then I go to that big store because there's also fake designer things.
Yeah.
So I go to the designer store and get that thing for $5,000 where they got it for like $5.
Dangerous.
This is such an
But
insightful.
listen, that's the whole model of influencer marketing.
Yeah, that's true.
Those influencers, they don't pay for those things. They actually get
Paid to
wear those
market it.
things
Yeah.
and show them to you so you can buy them. So they're making money while you are trying to be like them. They don't pay for
Exactly.
those things. Most of the time, those vendors, they contact them and send them free stuff. Hey, wear this. Here, make a video with this. I'll pay you to do this. And then you like just consuming it. Oh yeah, I can't wait to get this thing. They're getting paid to tell you to go get into more debt for them. So
This is so. I love that we
It's
just spoke
dangerous,
about that.
yeah.
This is dangerous because I feel like it's so relatable because a lot of people just looking at other people's lives and not realizing you need to really just consider yourself only when it comes to finances, and trying to become the next person and then putting yourself in debt can be so detrimental to your family and to yourself as well. And I loved how we addressed that conversation.
Yeah, I wrote an article one time that talks about, but I talked about it in terms of social, Dr. Paul, and I've never met anybody who talk in terms of like the technological side of having everybody as your neighbor.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
remember when I wrote about it, I wrote it in terms of culture, how we have to consider that social media in our neighborhood, we have to be mindful of the things that we post in, the way that we impacting people. But now I'm looking at the other side of it. Like, I have millionaires as my neighbor. Like, I cannot even afford.
Exactly.
Yeah. And sometimes we go and look for these people because we aspire to be like
like
those
them,
people.
yeah.
We want to be like them. So we're following them. Like, I cannot even afford your breakfast. But I have you every morning and I'm looking at everything that you posting and I want your life. And it's also mentally dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I hope that helps somebody.
I really do.
Today.
I do. And
Unfollow them.
unfollow.
let me add
You're too
one
rich
last
for
thing
me.
to that.
Go ahead.
You're too
There,
rich for me.
there was a lady. She went. She is like an influencer, or she was selling some stuff, and she went to Ben's dealership, and she bought that G wagon. She didn't buy it. She made the people put like a bouquet on top of it. She took some pictures. She posted those pictures, and then she left. And then she started saying she just made that big purchase. So the dealership had to actually comment under her post and say she did not purchase it. Yeah, she did not purchase it, but
That's
she
embarrassing.
took the pictures and she posted them, and everybody was like, congratulations. Imagine now you seeing that, she can do it. I can do it too. I'm going to go to the dealership.
Imagine.
And she did not even.
You get your $2,000 bill trying to look like her.
Like
and she doesn't even have the
her.
things.
imagine? So I feel like we should just be mindful of what we really post out there.
And the thing is, you can schedule content. So she could go that one day at the dealership and take like 12 pictures and she posts it every month.
So you can keep up with the lifestyle. This is horrible, man. Hello, wellness enthusiast. If you are on the lookout for a holistic company offering natural remedies and skincare products with pure ingredients, your search ends here. Green Olive Tree Outreach was founded with a mission to address community respiratory needs. Recognizing the importance of skincare, they've crafted exceptional skin-loving soaps using locally sourced whole plants like Cerville, orange, grapefruits, and mangoes. They offer skin-conscious soaps with natural ingredients like coconut oil, olive oil, shea butter, and clays. These soaps are specifically formulated to help nourish the skin, exfoliate dead skin cells, promote new cell growth, and stimulate white blood cells for skin restoration. These bars penetrate the skin rapidly, offering pain relief, inflammation soothing, and balance whole oil production. Great options for both men and women. But that is not all. GoTo has something special for our little ones, the Tender Care Baby Soap. Perfect for babies, of course, and people with super sensitive skin. And to our listeners and viewers, Green Olive Tree Outreach is excited to offer an exclusive discount. So use our code #wellness for a fantastic 12% off of your first purchase at gotobotanical.shop. So that's again, #wellness for a 12% off at gotobotanical.shop. Elevate your self-care journey with GoTo. Your well-being is a journey, and we are here to walk it with you. What are some advice for our listeners out there who wants to get into investment, or that have different life changes and financial goals that they would like to achieve? Like, how can they start planning for that future?
How do you level up?
Yeah.
Yes. So keep in mind, it's more about what you keep, right? So be concerned about what you have coming in and know what you have coming in. Have a game plan.
Okay.
And then control what goes out. And always have enough left for investing and saving. And by investing, we're not talking about gambling. We're talking about, informed investing. Like, you do your research, right? You contact the right people that can help you. And I'll say, unless you have all the education in the world or you have all the time in the world, do not do what we call day trading, because this is not investing. This is pretty much like a job. You have to stay focused. You have to know what you're doing, or you're going to lose your money super fast. So do long-term investing, something that's for the next 12 months at least, or the next 5 to 10 years. It's easier to manage. It's better for your mental health, psychologically, for you to deal with your money. Seeing your money going up and down during the day can really mess up with your mind if you don't have the training to do that. Keep learning. See a financial advisor, or if there's someone, not just someone that you think are doing better than you, but if you know someone that's actually doing good, ask them, how they've gotten there, and how you can get there too. Read books, do seminars, or take a financial class. They have those. A lot of people always complain about things that they wish they knew they taught them in high school. But those things are now available, and you really need them, and they're available, and they're still like trying to take those classes to get better. So do those things. Stay away from the next hottest thing.
That's big.
Because there's a lot of scammers out there. And you take your money and run with it. And just like those neighbors you see now, it's easy to never see them again. All they have to do is delete their account. Now you don't even know where they live, or who are their true friends, or where you can find them. So be content with what you have, and you can always strive to get better. Don't envy someone because they have something. You don't even know if they really have it. So actually, I would say read books, and spend less money than what you made, and teach your kids too. If you have kids or if you have little ones that depend on you, teach them, because about over 75% of people, because the reason I'm saying that is because everybody wants to do better for generational wealth. They want to leave more for their kids, but 75% of people lose their wealth by the next generation, by the second generation.
Wow.
And like 90% lose it by the third generation. So making all that work and getting all that money and not teaching the next generation how to manage it and how to keep growing, it's really pointless. Might as well just use your money now, and when you die, everything goes with you. So
Wow, that is
Oh my
so
God.
powerful.
That was powerful. That was powerful. So now how do you ensure the money stay? Because I was talking to, and we can wrap up with that if you want. But I was talking to somebody how there are families where the money has been there for like hundreds of, generation. The money is just there. It doesn't go anywhere. It's like past one grandfather to another. Everybody has the real estate. Everybody has the mansion and things. It's been in the family. But we don't see that a lot in our color community.
Yep.
And that's because, and sometimes we can attribute that to our beginning and things, the way that things started for families with poverty and things. But how do we ensure, now that we know better, we are in the age of information, we are reading a lot, let's just say we take all of the recommendation that you mentioned, we go to the seminars and things. So now what are the practical way to ensure, like, me working hard right now is going to stay for my great grandkids? What are the things that I can put in place to ensure that?
Very good question.
that's a very good question.
Because I want to know. Personally, I want to know.
And I also want to add to that question, if you don't mind, because we actually recently spoke about it last night. I don't know, this might be a little, it might be triggering for some people, but you said that our community, which is, Black people, we already know, we don't keep wealth within our family, but the other party, we'll call Caucasian people, they keep the wealth within themselves. And we see a lot of people when they make it and they're not with their own, they're on the other side. Do you think that has something to do with, keeping that money? Because that money is going to basically go to the other party too, more so than their own. But do you feel like that has something to do with it, or how do you view that?
Oh my God,
Adding to
I have something
question.
to add to that, but I'll let you answer the question, because I also feel like we can go into that. I don't think you're gonna forget, because you're a very smart guy. I think too is how we feel about each other when we start having money in our Black community. Because if I can't trust you, I mean, we went through that just last week. And it's not even, it's a nonprofit. It's not even money that's going to go in our pocket.
Right.
But you already have like a power struggle. And it's just us. We are one culture. We're trying to do something to serve our community. But there is that, we have that mistrust. And I think it stems from slavery, honestly. Like, we can trust each other. Like, if I'm start being like very wealthy now, some people feel more comfortable. And my husband talks about that all the time. How he would tell his clients one thing because he's a real estate agent, and then they question him, like he doesn't know what he's doing, and then they go to the white person and the person give them the same advice and they trust that person because the person is white, and then they take their money
somewhere
like,
else.
I am Black, we are Haitian, we're both Haitian, like I'm supporting you support me when you buy a house, but I help you too because it's your house. But then they go to the white person and buy the house because they don't trust that, because with the same color I know what I'm doing.
Wow. That's so you have a lot to unpack there. We gave him a lot to unpack there. Like, this is basically culture with money. Our
so
culture.
Now how do I entrust? Now, how do I make sure? Because I'm not going to be around for a long time. I have my children and I'm working hard. I create a business and things. So how do I ensure, make sure that
wealth stays within our own
it's not going to...
Our family or...
Right.
Oh, that's a lot. I'll be asking you guys to repeat some of those questions. But to start, I will say they are able to keep the money going and going because they have some complex way of engineering their estate planning. So it all starts with estate planning, right? So while you're still alive, who do you put in charge? And what kind of trust that you have? Because there's like trust, there's wills, there's different type of them that they have in place that serves as a bank for the whole family. Some of them don't really use regular banks. They are their own banks, right? Why are they their own banks? They live off of debt. I know one of the questions was good and bad debts, right? So they don't take cash. Like a lot of people that they say this is the 10th richest person, the 20th richest person, those people don't have that money in the bank and they don't ever touch that money. How do they live? Is they say, hey, I have stocks worth $20 billion. I'm going to use that, okay, as a guarantee. So I want you to give me a loan for $1 billion. Now I take that $1 billion and I use it to live and to do all my expenses. But guess what? With debt or loan, you don't pay tax on them. So they don't get to pay tax on that. And they make money, they borrow money, and then they die. So when they die with $1 billion worth of debt. Whatever that they have now is used to pay those debt. But depending on how they structure that, now they don't pay taxes on any money that's transferred to the people that, that they leave behind, and they just keep repeating that. So whatever they have, they keep it and then they borrow against it. And then when they die, the money is transferred. So you can't just, have your money and die like that. So there's different ways to do that. You're gonna have to get a lawyer, get a financial advisor, get an estate planner to help you get into those complex structures that can allow money to go. Because we're worrying about, next person get the money and then waste it, but they already have plans for someone. That one person can access all of it, or that one person can access, there's a limit you can access, and then there's a rest that goes to the next person. So it's very complex.
Right.
But the first step is for you to know that. That's the first step. And once you know that, you have to pass it down to the.
I love
Man,
that.
you just gave us a lot of gems.
Yes.
I am so happy we asked that question. Now, do you feel like it to unpack the second question that I added? Do you feel like that actually does impact, our community in terms of Black people? Does that stop us from keeping wealth within our own family?
I don't have the numbers, so I really don't know how that impacts, keeping wealth in the Black community. But I think it's not something we can do. Like, it's not something that if you do it well and everybody's gonna be better off because of you. So I don't think people should stop, should use generational wealth as the only resource to decide who they're gonna marry or who they're not gonna marry. Because even if you do it, you don't know the next person that you're leaving the money for, if they're gonna do exactly what you did, or if they're gonna marry someone else. But there's different ways. You don't have to just marry someone. You can invest, in the Black community.
There you go. That's where I was going.
Other Blacks to show them, here's what you do here, here's what you do if you want to keep your money, So I think that's, spreading the knowledge that you have, not just the wealth, might be the best way, because people give money all the time. If you don't know what you're doing with the money, it's really pointless. It's just like, okay, now you have enough money to eat, but what about tomorrow?
Exactly.
It's really having the knowledge to know how to keep the wealth going. I think it's better than actually passing just the wealth without a plan.
Amen to
Amen.
that. Amen to
Oh my
that.
God.
I'm so glad we had
I'm
you
so glad
on.
we recorded this because then I feel like I should have been taking notes.
Yeah.
But I can watch that again.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna watch that
Yeah.
again. That's one thing.
mhm.
So just in closing, just our last question for our audience is, what are some recommendation books? Like if you have some specific books at the top of your head for
Yeah.
someone who wants to get into financial wellness and wants to start educating themselves, what are some apps they can use for budgeting? We know yours is out there, so you can go ahead, do your shameless plug. And then what are some resources that you can provide to our community who are listening to us so that
And
they
he said
can
he has a project coming up.
Yep.
So maybe we can talk about that.
Oh yeah, tell us tell us where they can find you as well.
So for books, I would say The Psychology of Money. I can't remember the name of the author. But if you Google The Psychology of Money, you will really get it. The Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. It's a really good book also. Understanding Your Finances Through Life Changes by me. It's a really good book to help you get started. And The Richest Man in Babylon. That's one of the best books I've ever read.
I've read
So
it.
if you
Wow, yeah.
can, read it. When it comes to budgeting apps, I would say you need a budget. That's the actual name of it. YNAB. It's a good one. There's Net by QuickBooks. It's another good one too. You can use the one that I have. It's called MadBooMax. And there are others out there that I haven't tested myself, so I don't know. But you can always Google and find out which one works best for you. And financial. Start following financial people that align with your financial philosophy, or someone that's doing something financially you want to learn about. Follow them and see what they offer. That may be better because there's different ways to approach personal finances, right? So someone's approach may not work for you. That doesn't mean they are wrong. It just means that's just not the model for you. So finding the right model could make a world of difference on how you manage your money too.
Awesome. And then to our very final question, we ask all our guests that is what is one word that comes to mind when it comes when we talk about financial wellness? What is that one word that comes to your mind?
It's financial freedom. The reason is this is the end goal, and for you to get there, you have to do everything right. So financial freedom is the thing that comes to mind, and for you to get there, you just have to follow the step. Check. And if you do everything right, you will get there. And once you get there, it's a pretty sweet spot to be in.
Freedom.
Legacy is the word that comes.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Legacy.
that. Wow. Now it's making me question mine. I hate when people just go before you and then you just have to think about what yours is. What's my answer?
What is yours, Obel?
Man, wow.
Having learned everything that you
I
learned
know.
today.
I hope I answered all the questions.
You
I don't know if I
did. Yeah,
missed
you
Oh
anything.
my
did.
God,
You
it's so
didn't.
much more.
Yeah.
I think we have to get you back for part 2.
No, we
where
have
talk
to.
about our community
And diversifying your
finance.
money.
Yeah.
We didn't get into all that, but it was good. And for me, now that I thought about my word, I think it's just self-control.
Ooh.
Just self-control, because I think that's what most of us lack when it comes to money.
Yes,
We lack
yes,
self-control.
yes.
And that kind of determines, just a domino effect. You can't control yourself and you just go into that spiral. So yeah, having
I love
self-control.
this. Wow, this was a beautiful moment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul. We're so happy that you were sick, but you just, you got better. I prayed for you hard, my brother. I prayed for you so hard.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for coming on, and just tell our audience where they can find you, social media platforms, and all the websites and everything. And we'll be leaving soon.
Yes, you can find me on IG, on Twitter. It's my first and last name, Paul Etienne. You can find me on Facebook too, or go to pauletienne.com. All my information is there. All my books can be found on Amazon, or you can find the link also on my website. And madbu.com. You can go there to read my blogs and also download my budgeting app, Max. So if you have any question at any time, guys, you can find me on any of these platforms, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Awesome. I'm going to get a list. Please text me a list of all that because when this episode out, I have to just list them all. Well, that was, it for Mind Your Wellness podcast with Obel and Patricia. So mind your wellness.
Yes, because it's your business. Thank you, Dr. Paul.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye,
you guys
guys.
for having me. Thank you for the initiative. I definitely like what you guys are doing. And I know you guys are going to reach a lot of people and help a lot of people. So good luck with everything, guys. And good night.
Thank you so much for coming on. And, we just can't wait for our part 2.
Thank you for making the time for us, Dr. Paul.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. I'll be waiting for the invitation.